The pregnancy test sat on the clinic counter like a tiny pink grenade. I stared at it, then at Dr. Chen, then back at the test, waiting for someone to yell, "Psych," and hand me a hidden camera release form. No one did. "Miss Edwards, are you all right?" Dr. Chen's voice sounded like it was coming from underwater. I laughed. Not the cute kind you do on first dates, the unhinged kind that makes people slowly reach for their phones to dial 911. "Pregnant," I repeated, tasting the word like spoiled milk. "As in, baby? Human larva? A tiny parasite that'll destroy my pelvic floor and my career simultaneously?" Dr. Chen didn't flinch, bless her. "Approximately 8 weeks along, based on your hormone levels." 8 weeks. I did the math faster than I'd ever calculated a marketing budget. 2 months ago. Which meant, oh God, oh no. The tequila. The rooftop. The man with eyes like a Italian storm and hands that knew exactly where to. "I need to sit down," I mumbled, already sitting. "You are sitting, Maya." "Then I need to lie down, horizontally, preferably in traffic." My phone buzzed. A text from my boss, Richard. "Big client meeting tomorrow. Major opportunity. Don't screw this up." Perfect. Just perfect. Nothing says corporate excellence like morning sickness and an existential crisis. I grabbed my purse with shaking hands, the prescription papers crumpling in my grip. Can I have a minute?" Dr. Chen nodded sympathetically. She'd probably seen this reaction before. The "my life just imploded" special. I stumbled into the bathroom, locked the door, and pressed my forehead against the cool tile. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like angry wasps. A baby. I was going to have a baby. With a man whose last name I didn't even know. A man who'd disappeared like smoke after the best night of my life, leaving nothing behind except apparently his DNA and my shattered illusions about responsible adulthood. I pulled out my phone and opened the texts with Elena, my best friend and certified bad influence. "Me, remember that party? Me, the hot Italian guy? Me, I'm pregnant." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Elena." "What?" "Elena, Maya Rose Edwards." "Elena, I'm coming over. With wine. And ice cream." "Stay put." I typed back. "Can't have wine anymore, genius." Then I looked at myself in the mirror. Mascara smudged. Hair a disaster. A 5-year-old marketing coordinator who still bought ramen in bulk. How was I supposed to raise a child when I could barely keep a cactus alive? My phone buzzed again. "Richard. Client's name is Enzo Rossi. Italian investor. Big money. Be impressive." I pocketed my phone and walked out of that clinic into the Manhattan afternoon. Somewhere in this city of 8 million people, a man named Enzo was walking around with no idea he was about to become a father. And I had absolutely no idea how to find him. 2 months earlier, I'd been standing on Elena's balcony, wondering if jumping into the Hudson River counted as a legitimate career move. "Stop sulking," Elena had said, shoving a drink into my hand. "You got passed over for 1 promotion. It's not the end of the world." "It's the 3rd promotion, Elena. 3rd. Meanwhile, Chad from finance, who still doesn't know the difference between your just got made senior director. Then Chad from finance can choke." She clinked her glass against mine. "Tonight, we drink. Tomorrow, you plot his downfall. It's called balance." The party was everything I wasn't. Sleek, sophisticated, and probably tax-deductible. Crystal glasses. People who said things like "my summer home in Como" without irony. I felt like an imposter in my Zara dress surrounded by what was clearly Bergdorf money. That's when I saw him. He stood near the bar, dark hair perfectly tousled, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my rent. But it wasn't the clothes that stopped me cold, it was the way he held himself. Dangerous. Controlled. Like a panther pretending to be a house cat. Our eyes met across the room, and I swear time did that cliché slow-motion thing. He smiled. Not a full smile, just a hint of one. Like he knew a secret and might tell me if I asked nicely. I should have walked away. Instead, I walked toward him. "You look lost," he said when I reached him. His accent was pure Italian silk, the kind that made you forget English was your first language. "I look lost? You're the one standing alone at a party. I prefer to observe." His eyes traveled over me slowly. Not creepy assessing. "And right now, I'm observing someone interesting." "Smooth," I said, fighting a smile. "Do you have a name, or should I just call you mysterious stranger?" "Enzo." He extended his hand. "And you are?" "Maya." His grip was firm, warm. "And I'm approximately 3 tequila shots away from making questionable decisions." His laugh was low, genuine. "Then I should probably stop you at 2. But he didn't. 1 drink became 3. The party faded into background noise. We ended up on the rooftop, the city glittering below us like scattered diamonds. "Tell me something true," he said, leaning against the railing. "True?" I was pleasantly buzzed, the kind of drunk where everything felt possible. "I'm terrified I'm going to wake up at 40 and realize I wasted my life in conference rooms." "Then don't waste it." "Easy for you to say, mysterious Enzo." I stepped closer. "What do you do?" "Trust fund baby. Secret agent? Male model?" "Something like that." His hand found my waist. "Does it matter?" It didn't. When he kissed me, the city disappeared. The rest was a blur of elevator rides, silk sheets in a penthouse I'd never see again, and his voice in my ear whispering things that made me forget my own name. By morning, he was gone. No note, no number. Just the ghost of expensive cologne on the pillow and the worst decision of my life growing inside me. The conference room smelled like leather and broken dreams. I smoothed down my blazer for the 15th time, clutching my presentation folder like a shield. Richard sat at the head of the table, checking his Rolex with the enthusiasm of a man waiting for a root canal. "Where is he?" Richard muttered. "Italians. No concept of time." "Maybe he's stuck in traffic," I offered weakly. "He better not be. This deal is worth 7 figures, Edwards. We land this client. You might finally get that promotion you keep whining about." I wasn't whining. I was advocating for myself. There's a difference. But I bit my tongue because rent was due and Bruce the cactus wasn't going to water himself. The door opened. My heart stopped. No. Absolutely not. The universe could not be this cruel. But there he was, tall, dark, devastatingly handsome, flanked by 2 men who looked like they moonlighted as small buildings, same sharp jawline, same eyes that saw too much, same mouth that had— "Mr. Rossi," Richard practically leaped from his chair, hand extended. "Welcome, we're thrilled to have you." Enzo shook his hand, all business. Then his gaze slid to me. For a fraction of a second, something flickered in his eyes. Recognition, surprise. Then nothing. His expression went blank, professional, like I was a stranger, like he hadn't been inside me 2 months ago. "This is Maya Edwards," Richard continued, oblivious. "One of our top marketing coordinators. She'll be handling your account personally." "Miss Edwards." Enzo extended his hand. I stared at it like it might bite me. "Pull it together, Maya. You're a professional, a grown woman, not someone who's currently pregnant with this man's child and having an internal meltdown." I shook his hand. His grip was firm, controlled. "Mr. Rossi, pleasure." "The pleasure is mine." His thumb brushed against my wrist, deliberate or accident. I couldn't tell. Saturday, I opened my presentation folder with hands that definitely weren't shaking. "Thank you very much." "So," I began, voice impressively steady, "you're looking to invest in luxury real estate across Manhattan. Our firm has extensive experience with—" "I'm familiar with your portfolio," Enzo interrupted smoothly. His accent curled around the words. "That's why I'm here. I want the best." Was that a double meaning? His expression gave nothing away. Richard beamed. "Maya's put together an impressive proposal. Prime locations in Tribeca, Soho, the Upper East Side. I'd like to hear it from Miss Edwards." Enzo leaned back, fingers steepled. Directly. Oh, he was enjoying this. I launched into my pitch, years of training kicking in. Market analysis, projected returns, strategic positioning. I didn't stumble once, even with his eyes boring into me like he could see through my blazer to the secret growing beneath. When I finished, Richard clapped enthusiastically. "Excellent work, Edwards. What do you think, Mr. Rossi?" Enzo was quiet for a moment, studying me. "I think," he said slowly, "Miss Edwards and I should discuss this further. Over dinner." My stomach flipped. "That's highly unusual," Richard started. "I insist." Enzo stood. "Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. I'll have my driver pick you up." It wasn't a question. It was a command. I made it exactly 7 blocks before I had to stop and lean against a building. My heart hammered against my ribs. My hands shook. The pregnancy test in my purse felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Enzo Rossi. The man from the rooftop had a last name, a company, a driver. He'd sat across from me for 45 minutes pretending we were strangers. Not even a flicker of acknowledgement beyond that first microsecond. What kind of sociopath does that? My phone buzzed. "Elena, tell me everything," she demanded before I could even say hello. "He's my new client." Silence. Then, "I'm sorry, what?" "The father of my unborn child is my biggest client. He just sat through my entire presentation acting like we've never met." "Maya. Oh my God. Did you tell him?" "Tell him what?" "Hey, remember that night you ghosted me? Surprise, you're going to be a daddy?" In front of my boss? Fair point, I heard her pacing. Elena always paced when scheming. Okay, this is fine. You corner him after the next meeting. Privately. You tell him he wants to have dinner with me tomorrow night. More silence. Is that a euphemism for Elena? I'm just saying, the man clearly wants something. Question is, does he know about the pregnancy? I'd been asking myself that same thing. The way his eyes had lingered on me. The dinner invitation. Was it just business? Or did he somehow know? I don't think so, I said slowly. I barely know. How could he? Rich people have ways, resources. Maybe he's had you followed. You've been watching too many crime dramas. Or not enough, Elena countered. Maya, listen to me. This man disappeared without a trace. Now he's suddenly your client? That's not coincidence, that's calculated. A chill ran down my spine. You think he knew who I was? That night? I think you need to be very careful at this dinner. I hung up and stared at my reflection in a store window. Same Maya as this morning, but everything had changed. In 24 hours, I'd discovered I was pregnant and found the father only to realize I had no idea who he actually was. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Enzo's face. The way he'd looked at me in that conference room. Cold, professional, nothing like the man who'd whispered my name like a prayer on that rooftop. Which version was real? And which version was I having dinner with tomorrow? I pulled out my laptop and did what any sane person would do. I Googled him. Enzo Rossi, 32, CEO of Rossi International, real estate mogul, philanthropist. Suspiciously clean record. Too clean. I scrolled deeper, past the Forbes articles and charity galas. Found a Reddit thread. Is Enzo Rossi connected to organized crime? My blood ran cold. The top comment. Everyone in New York knows the Rossis. Old money, old blood. You don't ask questions. I slammed my laptop shut. Tomorrow night's dinner suddenly felt less like business, and more like walking into the lion's den. The car that picked me up wasn't a car. It was a moving palace. Black Mercedes, leather interior that smelled like money and danger. The driver, a man whose neck was thicker than my thigh, said exactly 0 words as we glided through Manhattan traffic. I'd dressed carefully. Black dress, professional but fitted. Heels that said I'm confident but could double as weapons if needed. Hair down because apparently I was still trying to impress the man who'd ghosted me. Pregnancy brain. Had to be. We pulled up to a restaurant I'd only read about in magazines. The kind where reservations required a blood oath and your firstborn child. Ironic, considering. Enzo waited inside, seated at a private table in the back. Candlelight. Wine bottle expensive, judging by the label. 2 bodyguards flanked the entrance to our section. Miss Edwards. He stood when I approached. Always, the gentleman. You look beautiful. You look like you're expecting an ambush, I said, nodding toward the guards. His smile was wolfish. In my line of work, it pays to be prepared. Real estate is that dangerous? Sit, please. He pulled out my chair. A waiter appeared instantly, pouring wine. I watched Enzo take a sip, then looked at my own glass. I can't, I said quietly. His eyes sharpened. Can't? I'm on antibiotics. The lie felt clumsy on my tongue. Doctor's orders. Unfortunate. He set down his glass. Then I won't drink either, it's only fair. We ordered. Made small talk about the menu, the weather, everything except what we both knew. We weren't strangers, and this wasn't just business. Finally, between the appetizer and main course, I couldn't take it anymore. Why are you pretending? I asked. Pretending what? That you don't remember me. That rooftop. That night. Enzo's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. I remember everything about that night, Maya. My name on his lips sent electricity down my spine. Then why? Because what happened between us was personal. He leaned forward. What happens now is business. That's sociopathic. That's survival. His voice dropped. You don't know who I am, what I am, and that's better for both of us. So you're what some mysterious playboy who collects one-night stands. I'm someone you should stay away from. His hand moved toward mine, then stopped. But I find myself unable to follow my own advice. That's the most cryptic non-answer I've ever heard. Ask me directly then. What do you want to know? I met his eyes. What do you really do, Enzo Rossi? He was quiet for a long moment. The restaurant buzzed around us, but our corner felt suspended in time. I protect my family's interests, he said finally, by whatever means necessary. That's still not an answer. It's the only one you're going to get. He sat back. Now, tell me why you really can't drink wine. And don't say antibiotics. You're a terrible liar. My heart stopped. He knew. Or he was about to find out. I'm not a terrible liar, I said, buying time. I'm just selective with the truth. Interesting distinction. Enzo's eyes never left mine. So what truth are you selecting right now? The waiter chose that moment to bring our entrees, saved by overpriced beef Wellington. I cut into my food with way too much focus, trying to organize my thoughts into something coherent. Tell him? Don't tell him? What's the protocol for, hey, surprise, you're going to be a father when the guy might be involved in organized crime? You're nervous, Enzo observed. You have armed guards watching us eat. Most people would be nervous. Most people don't challenge me the way you do. He took a bite, casual. That night on the rooftop you weren't intimidated. You matched me word for word. Maybe I was too drunk to be intimidated. Or maybe you saw something in me that others don't. He paused. I saw something in you too. And then you disappeared. I had to. His jaw tightened. Getting close to people in my world. It's dangerous. For them. Your world, I repeated. The one you won't explain. Would you believe me if I did? Try me. Enzo set down his fork. My family came to New York 3 generations ago. We built an empire, legitimate and otherwise. Real estate is just the surface. Underneath. He shrugged. Let's just say we have diverse interests. My stomach nodded. Diverse interests. That's one way to say mafia. He didn't deny it. Oh God, Elena was right. I'd slept with a mobster. I was carrying a mobster's baby. Bruce the cactus was going to be so disappointed in me. Are you going to run? Enzo asked softly. Should I? Probably. His hand finally found mine across the table. But I hope you don't. The touch sent heat through me, traitorous and unwelcome. I pulled my hand back. This is insane. You're insane. I should... My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Leave the restaurant. Now. You're not safe. I stared at the screen, blood turning to ice. Maya? Enzo's voice sharpened. What is it? I showed him the text. His expression went from concerned to lethal in a heartbeat. He snapped his fingers. Both guards materialized at our table instantly. Lock down the exits, he ordered. No one leaves. No one enters. Enzo, what? Someone knows you're with me. He stood, pulling me up with him. That makes you a target. A target for what? For anyone who wants to hurt me. His hand was on my lower back, guiding me toward a back exit I hadn't noticed. And there's a very long list. The restaurant erupted in chaos. Somewhere, glass shattered. Someone screamed. And Enzo's arm wrapped around me like a vice as he pulled me through a door marked private, just as gunshots echoed through the dining room. This wasn't a date. It was a battlefield. Enzo moved like a weapon, fast, efficient, deadly. He shoved me behind him as we crashed through a service corridor, his bodyguards forming a barrier between us and whoever was shooting up Manhattan's finest restaurant. Stay low, he commanded. Don't make a sound. Don't make a sound? Someone's shooting at us. My voice came out as a panicked whisper shriek. They're shooting at me. You're just collateral. Oh, well, that's so much better. More gunshots. Closer now. I heard shouting in Italian, angry, aggressive. Enzo barked something back in the same language. Something that sounded like a very creative threat involving someone's mother and a wood chipper. We burst through a kitchen. Chefs scattered. A pot of soup hit the floor. I stumbled in my heels, but Enzo's grip kept me upright. The car, he said into his phone. Back entrance. 30 seconds. We crashed through another door into an alley that smelled like garbage and broken dreams. The Mercedes screeched around the corner, door already open. Get in, Enzo ordered. I didn't argue. He slid in behind me, slamming the door. The driver hit the gas before it even fully closed. Who was that? I demanded, trying to catch my breath. Who's trying to kill you? Currently? About 6 different organizations. He checked his gun. When did he pull out a gun? With disturbing casualness. But tonight's special guest was probably the Castellano family. They've been territorial lately. The Castellano, I stared at him. This is your normal Tuesday? Usually it's more Thursday energy, honestly. You're joking. Someone just shot at us and you're joking. Enzo's expression softened slightly. He holstered the gun and turned to me, really looked at me. I'm sorry you got caught in that. I thought we'd be safe in neutral territory. Neutral territory. Like Switzerland. Like Russo's restaurant. It's been untouchable for decades. Someone broke protocol. His jaw clenched. Someone desperate. The car wove through traffic. I looked out the window, trying to orient myself. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. My apartment, is the first place they'll look. He pulled out his phone, typed rapidly. I'm taking you to one of my properties. Private. Secure. Absolutely not. I grabbed his arm. I'm not going anywhere with you. This is too much. I just wanted to be a marketing coordinator. I have a cactus. I'm not built for mob warfare. Maya. His voice was gentle but firm. Those people saw you with me. They have your face. Possibly your name by now. If I let you go home, you're dead by morning. The words hit like ice water. Dead. Or worse. He reached for my hand. I know you're scared. I know this is insane. But right now, I'm the only thing standing between you and a bullet. So please. Trust me. I looked at our joined hands. At his tattooed neck. At the eyes that held secrets I was only beginning to understand. 8 weeks pregnant. Running from mobsters. Being protected by the most dangerous man I'd ever met. Okay, I whispered. But we need to talk. About everything. Tomorrow, he promised. Tonight, we survive. And somehow, I believed him. The Hamptons mansion wasn't a house. It was a statement. We pulled through iron gates that looked like they could stop a tank, past manicured gardens that probably had their own full-time staff, and up to a sprawling estate that made my entire apartment building look like a shoebox. Welcome to hell, I muttered. I prefer to call it a strategic retreat, Enzo said, helping me out of the car. You would. Inside was worse. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, art that was definitely original and probably worth more than my entire life. It screamed old money and older secrets. A woman appeared 60-ish, steel gray hair, the kind of face that had seen everything and judged most of it. Mr. Rossi. Carmela, this is Maya. She'll be staying with us indefinitely. Enzo's hand was still on my lower back. Possessive. Guest room, east wing, post security at both entrances. My head snapped toward him. Security? I'm not a prisoner. You're not a guest either. His eyes were hard. You're under protection. There's a difference. Carmela disappeared silently. Enzo guided me toward a staircase that probably cost more than a car. I have a job, I protested. A life. You can't just kidnap me. I just saved your life. His voice was cold now, all business. You saw what happened at that restaurant. They won't stop. Not until they've sent a message. What message? That anyone close to me is fair game. We reached the second floor. He opened a door to a bedroom that looked like it belonged in a luxury hotel. This is yours. Bathrooms through there. Closets stocked. Carmela will bring you anything you need. I stepped inside, fighting the urge to either cry or punch him. How long? As long as it takes. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. He moved to leave, then stopped. Turned back. I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But Maya. His expression softened slightly. I meant what I said. I won't let them hurt you. Why? The question burst out before I could stop it. We had one night. You don't even know me. Something flickered across his face. I know enough. He left before I could respond. I stood in that pristine bedroom, surrounded by luxury that felt like bars, and finally let myself break down. This morning I'd been a normal person with normal problems. Now I was hiding in a mobster's mansion, pregnant with his child, while people with guns hunted me for sport. I pulled out my phone. 15 missed calls from Elena, 3 from Richard, 1 from my mother, which I'd deal with never. Before I could call anyone back, the door opened. Carmela entered with a tray tea, crackers, ginger cookies. For the nausea, she said simply. I froze. I'm not. Mr. Rossi doesn't know yet. She set the tray down. But I've been with this family 30 years. I know when a woman is carrying. My heart pounded. Please don't. Your secret is safe with me, Miss Edwards. She moved toward the door. But secrets in this house have a way of revealing themselves. Be careful. She left me alone with tea, cookies, and the terrible realization that I wasn't as hidden as I thought. I didn't sleep. How could I? Every shadow felt like a threat. Every creak in the house made me jump. And the pregnancy exhaustion mixed with adrenaline created a special kind of hell where I was simultaneously wired and destroyed. By dawn, I'd had enough. I found Enzo in his study because of course he had a study sitting behind a desk that looked like it had witnessed decades of probably illegal business deals. He was on the phone, speaking rapid Italian, gesturing with one hand while the other held an espresso. He looked up when I entered, held up a finger, finished his conversation with what sounded like a threat disguised as a goodbye. You look terrible, he said. Gee, thanks. Maybe it's because I'm being held hostage. Protected, not hostage. Semantics. I crossed my arms. I need to go home. No. I need to go to work. Also no. I need to water my cactus. That made him pause. You have a cactus? His name is Bruce, and he's the only male in my life who hasn't disappointed me. Until now. Because he's going to die while I'm trapped in your Mafia mansion. Enzo's lips twitched. I'll send someone to water Bruce. You're not listening to me. I stepped closer to his desk. You can't just lock me up here. I have rights. A life. People who'll notice I'm missing. Your boss thinks you're on emergency family leave. Your friend Elena received a text from your phone saying you needed space. Your mother. You hacked my phone? My voice went shrill. That's illegal. I've done worse. He stood, moving around the desk toward me. Maya, I need you to understand something. The Castellano family put a price on your head. $50,000 to anyone who brings them proof you're dead. Right now, you're the most wanted woman in New York's underworld. The room tilted. 50,000. So forgive me if I'm not concerned about your cactus or your career. I'm trying to keep you alive long enough to figure out how to end this. By imprisoning me. By protecting you. He was close now. Too close. You think I want this? You think I enjoy being responsible for putting you in danger? Then let me go. So you can what? Go back to your apartment and wait for them to kill you? His voice rose. You don't understand what these people do, what they're capable of. I've seen. He stopped. Breathed. You stay here, or you die out there. Those are your options. Tears burned behind my eyes. I refused to let them fall. You're an insufferable, controlling. Yes, he didn't deny it, but I'm an insufferable, controlling man who's kept people alive in situations far worse than this. So hate me if you want. Scream at me. Break every expensive thing in this house. But you're not leaving. This isn't protection. My voice cracked. This is a cage. His jaw tightened. Then I'm sorry. But I'd rather you hate me and alive than free and dead. He walked out, leaving me in his study with rage, fear, and no way out. 3 days. 3 days of pacing the mansion like a caged animal. 3 days of gourmet meals I could barely stomach. 3 days of watching Enzo disappear for hours, returning late with blood on his knuckles that he never explained. On the 4th day, I found him on the terrace at sunset. He stood at the railing, suit jacket discarded, sleeves rolled up to reveal those tattoos that snaked up his forearms. A cigarette dangled from his fingers unlit. I didn't know you smoked, I said. He didn't turn around. I don't, but I keep them around. Reminds me of my father. I moved beside him, keeping careful distance. The ocean stretched before us, golden in the dying light. Was he? I gestured vaguely. A monster? Yes. Enzo's voice was flat. But he was my monster, and when the Castellanos killed him, they started a war that's been going on for 15 years. I'm sorry? Don't be. He would have gotten himself killed eventually. The cigarette just makes me remember he was human once, before this life consumed him. Silence settled between us, not uncomfortable, just heavy with things unsaid. I called off your contract today, he said finally. My head whipped toward him. What? Your marketing contract. With my company. I sent a formal letter citing unforeseen circumstances. Your boss is disappointed but understanding. You're free of that obligation. Why would you? Because every meeting, every email, every interaction puts you on people's radar. Makes you more of a target. He finally looked at me. I'm trying to erase you from my public life. Make you invisible again. Something twisted in my chest. So this is temporary? Once the threat's gone, you'll just disappear again? His eyes darkened. Would you want me to stay? I don't know what I want anymore. The admission felt dangerous. A week ago I had plans, structure. Now I'm living in a stranger's mansion while people try to kill me. I'm not a stranger, Maya. He stepped closer. We both know that. One night doesn't mean you know me. Then let me. His hand came up, hovering near my face but not touching. Let me know you. My breath caught. Enzo. I can't stop thinking about that night. His voice dropped to a whisper. The way you laughed. The way you challenged me. The way you looked at me like I was just a man, not a monster. Maybe you're both. Maybe. His thumb finally brushed my cheek. But when I'm with you, I forget which one I'm supposed to be. The air between us crackled. I should step back. Should remember that this man had upended my entire life. Should remember the secret growing inside me that I still hadn't told him. But God help me. I leaned in. His lips were an inch from mine when my phone rang. We both froze. The spell shattered. I stepped back, fumbling for my phone. Elena, I should. I gestured weakly. Answer it. His voice was rough. We shouldn't. This is a bad idea. Right, bad idea. I turned away, heart hammering. Hey, Elena. But when I glanced back, Enzo was already gone, and I couldn't tell if I was relieved or devastated. Elena talked for 45 minutes straight. Mostly threats about what she'd do to Enzo if he hurt me, some concern about my safety, a lot of questions I couldn't answer without revealing the pregnancy. When I finally hung up, it was late. The mansion had gone quiet. I should have gone to bed. But restlessness pulled me downstairs. I found Enzo in the dining room, staring at a plate of untouched food. Caviar, champagne, the kind of meal that cost more than my monthly salary. Celebrating? I asked. He looked up, surprised. Can't sleep? Not really my strong suit lately. I gestured to the empty chair. Mind if I? Please. I Saturday studied the spread. This feels very last meal before execution. A ghost of a smile. Just a Tuesday in the Rossi household. Your Tuesdays are weird. You should see our Sundays. He pushed the caviar toward me. You haven't eaten much today. Carmela mentioned you sent back your dinner. Of course she did. Not a fan of salmon. Morning sickness? I nearly choked on air. What? You're not drinking. You barely eat. You disappeared to the bathroom 3 times during our first meeting. His eyes held no judgment, just certainty. How far along? My hands trembled. I don't. Maya. His voice was gentle. I grew up in a house full of women. My mother, 3 sisters, countless cousins. I know the signs. Tears stung my eyes. 8 weeks. He went very still. The rooftop. Yes. Silence stretched between us. I waited for anger, accusations, demands. Instead, he leaned back in his chair, exhaled slowly. Does anyone else know? Elena, my doctor, Carmela apparently. I laughed bitterly. Everyone except the father, until now. Why didn't you tell me? At the restaurant, when you found out who I was. Oh, I don't know, Enzo. Maybe because you're a literal crime boss? Because telling you felt like signing away any control over my life? Because I'm terrified? The words tumbled out. I'm 25. I buy ramen in bulk. I still have student loans. I'm not ready to be a mother, especially not to a Mafia heir. You think I'm ready to be a father? His voice cracked slightly. My father beat me until I learned to fight back. My mother died when I was 15. Everything I know about family I learned from watching people destroy each other. I stared at him. This vulnerable version of Enzo felt more dangerous than the cold businessman or the lethal protector. I never wanted children, he continued quietly. In this life, they're just leverage, weaknesses to exploit. But he looked at me, really looked. That was before. Before what? Before you. My heart stopped. I don't have answers, Maya. I don't know how to be a good man, let alone a good father. But I know one thing. He reached across the table, took my hand. I won't let this world touch our child. I'll burn it all down first. It was the most terrifying and most comforting thing anyone had ever said to me. The nightmares started that night. I woke up gasping, tangled in silk sheets, phantom gunshots still echoing in my head. The clock read 3:47 a.m. The mansion was silent. I should have tried to sleep again. Instead, I wandered. The house looked different at night. Shadows turned elegant furniture into monsters. Moonlight through windows created prison bars on the walls. I found myself outside Enzo's room. The door was cracked open. Light spilled out. Can't sleep either? His voice came from inside. I pushed the door open. He sat in a leather chair by the window, shirt unbuttoned, reading glasses perched on his nose. Reading glasses. The humanity of it hit me sideways. Nightmares, I admitted. Come here. He set his book aside, something in Italian, leather-bound. I should have gone back to my room, should have maintained distance. Instead, I walked to him. He pulled me onto his lap gently, like I was made of glass. Tell me about them. The restaurant, the gunshots. But in my dreams you don't save me in time. My voice cracked. And our baby. Shh. His hand moved to my stomach, splaying across where our child grew. Nothing's going to happen to either of you, I swear it. You can't promise that. Watch me. His thumb traced slow circles over my belly. The touch was reverent, protective. How big is it now? Like a raspberry, according to the app. You have an app? I have 3 apps, and a pregnancy book, and a Pinterest board I'm too scared to look at. The words tumbled out. I'm terrified, Enzo. I don't know what I'm doing. Neither do I. His other hand came up, tilting my face toward his. But we'll figure it out, together. Together implies you're planning to stick around. Maya. His eyes burned into mine. I've done terrible things, hurt people, destroyed lives, but you and this baby. His hand pressed firmer against my stomach. You're the first good thing I've had in 15 years. You really think I'm letting that go? A tear slipped down my cheek. He caught it with his thumb. I'm falling for you, I whispered, and it's the stupidest thing I've ever done. Good. His forehead touched mine. Because I fell the moment you walked up to me at that party and called me mysterious. That's not how falling in love works, isn't it? His lips brushed my jaw. Tell me to stop. I should have. Every rational brain cell screamed at me to stop, but rational Maya had left the building the moment that pregnancy test came back positive. Don't stop, I breathed. His kiss was soft at first, gentle, like he was afraid I'd break. But when I pressed closer, threading my fingers through his hair, something in him snapped. The kiss deepened. His hands found my hips, mine found the buttons of his shirt. We moved from the chair to his bed in a tangle of limbs and desperate need. We shouldn't, he gasped against my neck. Probably not. You're pregnant. Extremely aware, I pulled him closer. Are you going to talk, or are you going to? He kissed me silent. And for the first time in days, I felt safe. Morning came with regrets and sore muscles in places I'd forgotten existed. I woke up alone in Enzo's bed, sheets tangled, his scent on the pillow beside me. A note sat on the nightstand in sharp, masculine handwriting. Meeting with consigliere, back by noon, don't leave the estate. Bossy even in notes, typical. I showered, borrowed one of his shirts, which fell to my thighs, and snuck back to my room before Carmela could give me knowing looks. My phone had 17 messages, most from Elena, progressively more unhinged. Elena, you've been gone a week. Elena, I'm filing a missing person report. Elena, unless you're dead, in which case sorry for the spam. Elena, Maya, answer your phone. I hit call before I could overthink it. She answered on the first ring. Oh, thank God you're alive. I was about to go full Liam Neeson and storm that mansion. Please don't. His security would probably shoot you. How romantic. I heard rustling, like she was settling in for a long conversation. Okay, talk. Are you okay? Has he hurt you? Do I need to call the police? Wait, can you even call the police on the Mafia? Is that a thing? Elena, breathe. You breathe. I've been worried sick. I filled her in. The shooting. The mansion. The protection detail. I carefully left out the part where I'd told Enzo about the pregnancy and then immediately slept with him. Some details were too fresh to share. So you're just living with him now? Elena's voice was skeptical. The baby daddy mob boss? It's temporary, until the threat's neutralized. And you believe that? Did I? A week ago, I'd have said no. But after last night, after the way he'd touched me, looked at me, whispered promises against my skin, I don't know what I believe anymore, I admitted. Maya, listen to me. Elena's voice turned serious. I love you. You're my best friend. But this man is dangerous. Not just bad boy, dangerous, actual criminal dangerous. What happens when you're not just his protection detail project? When real life sets in? You don't understand. Then help me understand. Because from where I'm sitting, you're Stockholm syndroming yourself into a relationship with someone who literally kidnapped you. He didn't kidnap me, he saved me. Semantics. Maya, you're pregnant and vulnerable and… A knock at my door. Carmela's voice. Miss Edwards? Mr. Rossi is requesting your presence in his office. Immediately. My stomach dropped. Elena, I have to go. Wait. I hung up. Opened the door. Carmela's expression was grave. What happened? I asked. I don't know. But he's been on the phone for an hour. And he's very angry. Angry. Not a word you wanted associated with a man who had guns and probably knew 12 ways to dispose of a body. I followed Carmela downstairs, heart hammering. The office door was open. Enzo stood behind his desk, shoulders rigid, phone pressed to his ear. When he saw me, his expression shifted fury, mixed with something that looked like fear. He ended the call abruptly. Close the door, he said quietly. I did. What's wrong? Your friend Elena. His voice was ice. Did you tell her where you are? No, I just… Did you tell her anything about my security? About the layout of this house? About my schedule? No, I would never. Then explain this. He turned his laptop toward me. On the screen, a social media post, Elena's account, from 20 minutes ago. A photo of the mansion's front gates. The caption, when your bestie is living her best Mafia romance life. And underneath, visible in the photo, the exact address. The blood drained from my face. Oh my God. She tagged you, used your real name. Every rival family in New York now knows exactly where you are. His phone rang. He glanced at it, answered, listened. His expression went from anger to something worse, resignation. How many? He asked. A pause. Get everyone inside. Full lockdown. Now. He hung up, looked at me with eyes that had gone cold. What's happening? I whispered. They're coming, Maya. All of them. He moved to a panel on the wall, pressed something. Alarm bells started ringing throughout the house. And we have about 10 minutes before this house becomes a war zone. Elena's innocent post had just painted a target on our backs. And this time, there was nowhere to run. Are you insane? I stared at Enzo like he'd grown a second head. You want me to attend a dinner party, while people are actively trying to kill us? It's not a dinner party. He adjusted his cufflinks with irritating calmness. It's a summit. All 5 families. Neutral ground. And you're going to be my fiancé. You're what? We'd survived the siege. Barely. Enzo's security had held, but 3 of his men were wounded. The Castellanos had retreated, but the message was clear. This wasn't over. Now, 2 days later, he was asking me to play dress-up at a mob dinner. The only way to end this is to bring you into my world officially, he explained. As my fiancé, you're under my protection. Untouchable. Off limits. Or I'm just a bigger target. You're already the biggest target. He stepped closer, hands finding my hips. This makes you family. Sacred. Even the Castellanos won't violate that code. Code. I laughed bitterly. You people have a code? We have rules. And consequences for breaking them. His thumb traced my jawline. Trust me. That's a lot to ask. I know. He pressed a kiss to my forehead. But it's the only way out. The dress he'd chosen was blood red, fitting, considering. Carmela helped me into its silk that clung to curves I didn't know I had. A slit up one thigh that felt like a weapon. She pinned my hair up, added diamond earrings that could probably fund a small country. You look like you belong in this world, she said quietly. That's what I'm afraid of. The summit was held at a restaurant I'd never heard of, probably because people like me weren't supposed to know about it. We arrived in a convoy of black cars, bodyguards flanking us like we were the president. Inside, the private room held 5 tables. 5 families. Each Don surrounded by their people, all dressed to kill. Literally. Enzo's hand was firm on my lower back as we entered. Every eye turned to us. Gentlemen, Enzo said smoothly. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I'd like you to meet my fiancée, Maya Edwards. Silence. Then murmurs. Pointed looks. One man stood older, gray-haired, eyes like a shark. Castellano, Enzo muttered to me. This is the woman who's caused such disruption? Castellano's accent was thick. She doesn't look like much. Careful. Enzo's voice dropped to a lethal purr. You're talking about the future, Mrs. Rossi. Future. Castellano smiled, all teeth. Interesting choice of words. Implies she has a future. My heart hammered, but I lifted my chin, channeled every confident woman I'd ever admired. I assure you, Mr. Castellano, I plan on having a very long future. One that doesn't include your family's amateur attempts at intimidation. The room went silent. Enzo's hand tightened on my hip. Approval? Warning? Both? Castellano stared at me for a long moment. Then he laughed. She has spine. I'll give you that, Rossi. She has more than that. Enzo pulled out my chair. Shall we dine? The dinner was a dance of veiled threats and careful alliances. I smiled, played the adoring fiancé, and tried not to think about how every man in this room had probably killed someone. But it worked. By dessert, Castellano had agreed to a truce. Enzo and I were officially engaged in the eyes of New York's underworld. As we left, Enzo leaned down, lips brushing my ear. You were magnificent. I was terrified. I know. He smiled. That's what made it perfect. But as we drove back to the mansion, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd just sold my soul. And worse, I wasn't sure I cared. The truce lasted 3 days. 3 days of almost normal. Enzo working from home. Me researching baby names. I pretended I wasn't researching. Carmela making pasta and pretending not to notice when Enzo's hand would drift to my stomach at dinner. On day 4, I woke up alone. Not unusual. Enzo often left early for meetings. But something felt off. The house was too quiet. No guards at my door. No Carmela humming in the kitchen. I found a note on my nightstand. Emergency. Had to leave. Stay inside. Will explain later. No signature. No details. I should have listened. Should have stayed put like a good little prisoner. Instead, I saw an opportunity. The front gates were open, unprecedented. One guard stood outside, distracted by his phone. The car service Enzo used was idling in the driveway. Freedom was right there. I could leave. Go back to my apartment. My life. Figure out this pregnancy on my own terms, away from mob summits and dinner parties with murderers. I grabbed my phone, my purse, and walked out the front door like I belonged anywhere but here. The guard didn't even look up. The driver knew me by sight. Miss Edwards? Where to? Manhattan, Upper West Side. My address tumbled out before I could second guess. The drive felt like an escape and a betrayal simultaneously. Every mile from the Hamptons, I felt lighter and more guilty. My apartment looked exactly as I'd left it. Bruce the cactus was alive, someone had been watering him. That made me pause. Enzo had remembered. I checked my phone. 17 missed calls from a number I didn't recognize. Then a text. Unknown, where are you? Me, who is this? Unknown, don't play games. Answer the fucking question. Enzo. Different phone. Which meant, my door burst open. He stood there, blood on his shirt, face bruised, eyes wild. Are you insane? How did you? I put a tracker in your phone. He stalked toward me. The one time I need you to stay safe, you decide to play runaway? You left. No explanation, just a note. Because I was dealing with the Castellanos. They grabbed my consigliere. I had to negotiate his release before they killed him. He was shouting now. And I couldn't tell you because I didn't want you worrying about me when you should be worrying about our child. That stopped me cold. They hurt you. It's nothing. Enzo, you're bleeding. It's nothing compared to finding out you left. His voice cracked. Do you have any idea what went through my head? I thought they'd taken you, killed you. I drove 90 miles per hour thinking I'd find your body. He cut himself off, turned away. His shoulders shook. I'd never seen him like this. Vulnerable, broken. I'm sorry, I whispered. I didn't think. You didn't. He faced me again. You want freedom? Fine, leave. But don't expect me to pick up the pieces when they come for you. He walked toward the door. My heart screamed at me to stop him, but pride kept my mouth shut. And I watched him leave, wondering if I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life. He made it to the hallway before I broke. Wait. Enzo stopped but didn't turn around. I'm sorry, I said again, stronger this time. You're right, I didn't think. I needed to feel like I had some control, like I wasn't completely dependent on you for everything. Silence. This whole situation is insane, I continued. A month ago, I was worried about client presentations. Now I'm pregnant, living with a mobster, attending dinner parties with people who want me dead. Can you blame me for wanting one moment that felt normal? He turned slowly. The bruise on his jaw was darkening. Blood had dried on his collar. But his eyes, God. His eyes held something raw and desperate. You want normal? His voice was hoarse. You think I don't? You think I enjoy living every day knowing that loving you makes you a target? The word hung between us. Loving. You don't love me, I whispered. You barely know me. I know you take your coffee with too much sugar. I know you talk to your cactus. I know you cry during commercials but pretend it's allergies. He stepped closer. I know you're terrified of being a mother, but you've already downloaded 3 parenting apps. I know you hum when you cook. I know the exact sound you make when... Stop. Why? Another step. Because it's too much? Too real? Because it's easier to pretend this is just about protection? Because if I admit what this is, I can't take it back. The confession burst out. If I admit that I've fallen for you, that I want this insane, impossible life, then I'm trapped. Forever. In your world. With all its violence and danger and... He kissed me. Hard. Desperate. Like I was air and he was drowning. I kissed him back with everything I had. All the fear, all the anger, all the love I'd been trying to deny. We crashed against the wall, his hands tangled in my hair, mine clawed at his shoulders. The kiss was bruising, claiming absolutely nothing like our first time. That night had been about discovery. This was about desperation. Say it, he demanded against my mouth. Say you want this. I want this. Say you're mine. I'm yours. The words felt like surrender and victory. But you're mine too. No more leaving without explanation. No more shutting me out. Deal. He lifted me, carried me toward the bedroom. And no more running. No more running, I agreed. We made it to the bed in a tangle of clothes and promises. And when he moved inside me, gentle despite the fire between us, I finally understood. This wasn't about protection anymore. This was about us. Broken, complicated, dangerous. But ours. I woke to voices. Low, urgent, coming from the living room. Enzo's side of the bed was cold. The clock read 2 a.m. I should have stayed put. Should have given him privacy. But something in those voices, the tone, the tension pulled me out of bed. I crept to the door, Opened it a crack. Can't tell her, a man's voice said. Enzo's consigliere, Marco. She'll find out eventually. Enzo sounded tired. Not if we're careful. The doctor's been paid off. The records are buried. My blood ran cold. It's too risky, Marco continued. If she learns you arranged it. I didn't arrange it. I asked him to ensure it would hold if it happened. Semantics, boss. You had her followed after that night. You knew where she lived, where she worked. You orchestrated the entire thing. I wanted an heir. Enzo's voice was defensive. Someone outside this world. Someone clean. And you think she'll understand that? That you chose her like livestock? That you had your doctor inject her with? Enough. Enzo's voice cracked like a whip. She can never know. Do you understand? Never. Silence. What about the woman herself? Marco asked. She's not stupid. Eventually. I'll handle it. She loves me. She'll forgive me. You sure about that? I have to be. Because if she leaves. Enzo trailed off. I can't lose them, Marco. I won't. I pressed my hand against my mouth to keep from making a sound. Arranged it. Inject. Chose her. The world tilted. My stomach churned, morning sickness or betrayal. I couldn't tell. Everything, our meeting, the pregnancy, even him finding me again, it wasn't fate. It was orchestrated. I backed away from the door on shaking legs. Made it to the bathroom before I threw up everything in my stomach. When I finally looked at myself in the mirror, I barely recognized the woman staring back. Pale, haunted, holding a stomach that contained a child conceived through manipulation. The door opened. Enzo stood there, concern written across his face. Maya? Are you? Don't. The word came out sharp. Don't pretend to care. His eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? I heard you. With Marco. All of it. The color drained from his face. So it's true, I whispered. The pregnancy wasn't an accident. You planned this. You had me drugged? Not drugged. I would never. He reached for me. I flinched back. Don't touch me. Maya, listen. You followed me. You stalked me. You had some doctor do God knows what to ensure I'd get pregnant. My voice rose with each word. And then you pretended you made me believe. I fell in love with you. His voice broke. That part was real. Everything after that night was real. How am I supposed to believe anything you say? Tears streamed down my face. You took away my choice, my consent. You turned me into what? A breeding mare for your Mafia dynasty? It wasn't like that. Get out. He stared at me, pain etched into every line of his face. Maya, please. Out. He left. And I collapsed on the bathroom floor, one hand on my stomach, wondering how something that had felt so right could be built on something so wrong. The man I loved had orchestrated everything, and I had no idea who he really was anymore. Morning light filtered through the bathroom window, harsh and unforgiving. I'd spent the night on the cold tile floor, alternating between crying and planning my escape. Now, red-eyed and hollow, I had only one question that mattered. Enzo knocked softly. Maya, please, let me explain. What did you do to me? My voice was raw. Exactly. I want every detail. Silence. Then, can I come in? No. More silence. Then his voice. Closer, he must have been sitting against the door. After that night on the rooftop, I couldn't stop thinking about you, so I had you followed. I learned your name, where you worked, your routines. Each word was a knife. Go on. I wanted an heir outside the life. Someone uncorrupted by this world. And you were. Perfect. Smart. Strong. Beautiful. So I asked my doctor to prepare something. Just in case. What did he give me? A fertility enhancement, administered during that night when you went to the bathroom. It wouldn't force conception, but if it happened naturally, it would ensure the pregnancy held. I laughed, a broken, bitter sound. You drugged me. You violated me. And then you had the audacity to act surprised when I told you I was pregnant. I was surprised. His voice cracked. Because by then, I'd fallen for you. The plan stopped mattering. All that mattered was you. Convenient. I stood, threw open the door. He scrambled up from the floor. When were you planning to tell me? After the baby was born? Never? I don't know. He looked destroyed, hair disheveled, eyes bloodshot. I convinced myself it didn't matter. That our love was real, so the beginning didn't count. The beginning is everything, I was shouting now. You took away my choice, my bodily autonomy. You decided my entire future without my consent. I know. Tears streaked his face. Actually crying. I'd never seen him cry. And I'm sorry. God. Maya. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. I pushed past him, started grabbing clothes, shoving them in a bag. Sorry doesn't give me back what you stole. What are you doing? What I should have done weeks ago. Leaving. He grabbed my arm, gentle, desperate. You can't. The Castellanos. I'll take my chances. I wrenched free. Better them than you. Maya, please. You said you loved me. I faced him, tears blurring my vision. But love doesn't manipulate. Love doesn't control. Love doesn't turn someone into a science experiment. You're right. He stepped back, hands raised. You're absolutely right. I'm a monster. I've always been a monster. But I hoped that maybe with you, I could be something else. You thought wrong. I zipped the bag. Goodbye, Enzo. What about the baby? The question stopped me cold. I'll raise it alone, I said finally. Far from you, far from this world. You can't keep me from my child. I turned, saw the flash of something dangerous in his eyes. There it was, the real man underneath. The one who took what he wanted, consequences be damned. Watch me. My voice was steel. You manipulated me once. You don't get to do it again. Not to me. Not to our child. I walked out. This time, he didn't follow. But as I stepped outside, I had no idea that leaving was the most dangerous thing I could have done. Elena picked me up 3 blocks from the apartment. She took one look at my face and said, I'm going to kill him. Get in line. I threw my bag in the back seat. Just drive. We went to her apartment, a tiny studio in Brooklyn that smelled like incense and bad decisions. She made tea I didn't drink while I explained everything. He what? Elena nearly dropped her mug. That's not romantic, that's criminal. That's exactly what I said. We're going to the police. And tell them what? A mafia boss drugged me to get me pregnant? They'll either laugh or end up in his pocket. I laughed bitterly. He owns this city, Elena. There's no escaping him through legal means. Then we go illegal. She pulled out her laptop. I have a friend, don't ask who can get you a new identity. We get you out of New York. Maybe out of the country. You disappear. I'm 3 months pregnant. I can't just disappear. You can't stay here either. Maya, he's obsessed with you. Men like that don't let go. She started typing furiously. I'm booking you a bus ticket. Small town. Somewhere he'd never think to look. You can have the baby there. Figure out your next move. A knock at the door. We both froze. You expecting someone? I whispered. Elena shook her head, face pale. No one knows you're here. Another knock. Harder. I moved to the window, peeked through the curtain. 2 men in dark suits. Not Enzo's, I'd recognize his security anywhere. These were different. Rougher. Back door, Elena hissed. Now. We grabbed my bag, rushed through her kitchen. The front door splintered open just as we hit the fire escape. Footsteps pounded behind us, shouting in Italian. We ran down the metal stairs, my heart hammering. My hand instinctively went to my stomach, protecting, even while fleeing. There, one of them spotted us. Elena and I hit the alley, sprinting toward the street. A car screeched around the corner, black, windows tinted. Oh God. More of them. But the passenger door flew open. Get in. Marco. Enzo's consigliere. Elena grabbed my arm. Don't. They'll kill us. I shoved her toward the car. Go. We dove inside. Marco hit the gas before the door even closed. Behind us, the men from the apartment gave chase but couldn't keep up. Who were they? I gasped. Vitali family. Marco's jaw was tight. Someone leaked that you left Enzo's protection. Every family with a grudge just got their opportunity. How did you find us? Boss never stopped tracking your phone. He glanced at me in the rear view. He knew you were here. Sent me to watch over you from a distance. Of course he did. I wanted to throw the phone out the window. Where are you taking us? Safe house. Until we figure out our next move. We? Elena cut in. Since when are you helping her escape? Marco's expression was grim. Since I realized the boss's love might get her killed. And suddenly, I understood I wasn't just running from Enzo. I was running for my life. The safe house was an apartment in Queens. Bare, functional, no personality. Stay here, Marco ordered. Don't answer the door. Don't go outside. Don't call anyone. What about Enzo? I asked. What about him? Does he know you took me? Marco's expression was unreadable. He will soon enough. But by then, maybe I'll have figured out how to keep you both alive. He left. Elena immediately locked every lock on the door. This is insane, she muttered. Completely insane. We should be on a bus too. Her phone rang. Unknown number, she answered, then went pale. What? I demanded. Who is it? She handed me the phone wordlessly. Hello? I said cautiously. Miss Edwards. A man's voice. Smooth. Accented. Not Italian, something else. I've been looking for you. My blood turned to ice. Who is this? Someone who believes Enzo Rossi has had things too easy for too long. A pause. You're carrying his child, yes? His heir? I said nothing. Silence is confirmation enough. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to meet me. Alone. Or I'm going to make sure that baby never takes its first breath. You can't. I can do whatever I want. Enzo's protection means nothing now that you've left him. You're exposed. Vulnerable. The voice turned cold. Midnight. The old warehouse on Pier 47. Come alone, or everyone you love dies. Starting with your friend Elena. The line went dead. Elena stared at me. What did he say? He knows about the baby. He wants me to meet him. My hands shook. Tonight. Absolutely not. That's a trap. We call Marco. And he tells Enzo. Who will either lock me up forever or start a war that gets people killed. I pressed my hands to my face. I don't see a way out. Then we run. Right now. We grab your stuff and... The window exploded. Glass shattered everywhere. Elena screamed. I threw myself to the floor, arms covering my head. Gunshots. So many gunshots. Someone crashed through the door, not picking the lock, just destroying it. Men poured in. 3, 4. I couldn't count. Get the girl, one shouted. Hands grabbed me. I fought back, kicking, clawing. Connected with something soft, heard a grunt. Then pain exploded across my head. The world tilted, blurred. I saw Elena fighting, saw blood hers or mine, I couldn't tell. Stop! I tried to scream. I'll go, just stop. Another blow. This one to my stomach. The baby. Everything went white with pain, then black. The last thing I heard was Elena screaming my name. And the last thing I thought was that I'd failed to protect the one person who couldn't protect themselves. I woke up in hell. Dark, cold, the smell of rust and rot. My head throbbed. My stomach ached. Not the baby. Please, not the baby. She's awake. Footsteps. A light clicked on, blinding. I was tied to a chair. Warehouse. Judging by the high ceiling and industrial fixtures, blood dripped from somewhere above my eye. A man stepped into the light. 50-ish. Scarred face. The smile of someone who enjoyed causing pain. Miss Edwards, welcome. He pulled up another chair, sat backward on it. I'm Dmitry Volkov, and you're going to help me destroy Enzo Rossi. Russian. The voice from the phone. He'll kill you, I said through split lips. He'll try. Dmitry laughed. But first, he'll have to find you. And by the time he does... He gestured to a man behind him. My associate here is very skilled with a knife. We're going to send Enzo pieces of you, starting with the parts he values most. His hand moved toward my stomach. No. The warehouse doors exploded open. Gunfire erupted like thunder. Dmitry dove for cover. The man behind him dropped, blood blooming across his chest. Through the chaos I saw him. Enzo. But not the Enzo I knew. This was the monster he'd warned me about. Face splattered with blood, eyes wild, gun in each hand, firing with precision that spoke of years of practice. He was beautiful and terrifying. Men fell around him like wheat before a scythe. He moved through them without hesitation, without mercy. When one tried to use me as a shield, Enzo shot him through the shoulder, perfect aim that dropped the man without touching me. Then he was in front of me, cutting the ropes, hands frantically checking me for injuries. The baby? His voice shook. I think I don't know. We're going. Now. He lifted me like I weighed nothing. Behind us, Dmitry shouted something in Russian. Enzo turned, raised his gun. You come near her again, Enzo said, voice dead calm. And I'll kill everyone you've ever loved. Your wife, your children, your grandchildren. I'll erase your bloodline from history. You can't. I'm Enzo fucking Rossi. He cocked the gun. Watch me. He fired. Not at Dmitry, at the man beside him. Sending a message. Then we were out. Into a car. Speeding through Queens with a convoy of security vehicles. How did you find me? I gasped. Marco called. Told me about the Vitales. I had every available man searching. His jaw was tight. When I got to the safe house and saw the blood. He didn't finish. Didn't need to. I thought I could handle this alone. I whispered. You don't have to handle anything alone. Not anymore. He pulled me closer. I know you hate me. I know I destroyed your trust. But Maya, I can't lose you. I won't survive it. I wanted to stay angry, to push him away. but I'd just seen him burn down the world to save me. And some part of me, the broken, twisted part, loved him even more for it. The new safe house was actually safe. Somewhere upstate, isolated, guards at every entrance, medical team on standby. The doctor confirmed what I'd prayed for. The baby was fine. Bruised ribs for me, concussion. But the baby had survived. We'd survived. Enzo didn't leave my side for 3 days. Slept in a chair next to my bed, barely ate. When the nightmares came, and they came every night, he was there, holding me until I remembered where I was. On the 4th day, I finally asked, "Why?" He looked up from his book reading glasses on again. "Why what? Why go this far? You could have let them take me. Started fresh with someone else. Someone who didn't know your secrets." He set the book down slowly. "You want the real answer?" "I want the truth, for once." He stood, walked to the window. Moonlight cast him in silver. I was 9 when my mother died, cancer. My father blamed himself. He'd refused to let her get treatment. Said it showed weakness. By the time he changed his mind, it was too late. I said nothing. Let him continue. He became worse after that. More violent, more paranoid. He'd lock me in the basement for days if I showed any emotion. Said emotions made you pray. Enzo's voice was flat. I learned to shut it all down. Feel nothing. Want nothing. It kept me alive. Enzo. Then my sisters died. His voice cracked. All 3. A hit meant for my father. I was 17. I found their bodies. And I realized that shutting down didn't protect anyone. It just made you alone. He turned to face me, and I saw tears on his cheeks. When I met you, something broke open. Something I'd spent 15 years keeping locked up. You made me feel again. Made me want again. And yes, I manipulated the situation because control is the only language I know. But Maya, he crossed to me, knelt beside the bed. You're not a replacement. You're not a plan. You're the first person who's made me believe I could be something other than what my father made me. I touched his face, wiped away tears. You can't use your trauma as an excuse. I'm not. What I did was wrong. Unforgivable. He caught my hand, pressed it to his cheek. But I'm asking, begging for the chance to spend the rest of my life making it right. How? However you want. Therapy, space, complete transparency. I'll dismantle every wall, answer every question. I'll be whatever you need me to be. What if I need you to let me go? Pain flashed across his face. Then I'll let you go. I'll set you up somewhere safe. Support you and the baby from a distance. Whatever you need. You'd really do that? I'd die for you, Maya. His voice broke. Letting you go would hurt more. But I'd do it. Because I love you. Actually love you. Not the possessive, controlling version. The kind that wants your happiness even if it destroys me. I stared at him, this broken, dangerous, impossible man. I don't forgive you yet, I whispered. I don't deserve forgiveness. But I don't want to run anymore either. Hope flickered in his eyes. What do you want? I took a shaky breath. I want us to figure this out. Together, with honesty, and boundaries, and probably a lot of therapy. He kissed my hand like it was sacred. And for the first time in days, I felt like maybe, just maybe, we'd survive this. Recovery was slow. Physically, I healed. Emotionally was harder. Enzo kept his promise, complete transparency. He showed me everything, bank accounts, business dealings, the full extent of his empire, both legitimate and otherwise. It was overwhelming, terrifying, but honest. We started therapy, couples counseling with a therapist who specialized in trauma and no judgment Mafia-adjacent relationships. Apparently, we weren't her first mobster clients. But late at night, when Enzo was handling business and I was alone with my thoughts, doubt crept in. Could I really do this? Raise a child in this world? Risk my baby growing up surrounded by violence? Elena called weekly. Each time, she asked the same question. When are you leaving? Each time, my answer got weaker. 2 weeks into our upstate isolation, I couldn't sleep. The baby was active, kicking, rolling, reminding me that time was running out to make a decision. I opened my laptop, started typing. Dear Enzo, I'm writing this at 3 a.m. because saying it to your face feels impossible. You've been trying so hard. The therapy, the honesty, the promises to change, and I believe you mean all of it. But meaning it isn't enough. I can't raise our child in constant fear. I can't spend every day wondering if today's the day someone puts a bullet in you, or me, or our baby. You said you'd let me go if I asked. I'm asking. I'll move somewhere quiet. Small town, normal life. You can visit supervised at first, until I learn to trust you again. You can be in the baby's life, but I can't be in yours. Not like this. I'm sorry, I know this will hurt you, but I have to put our child first. Even if it breaks my heart, I'll always love you. That's why I have to leave. Maya. I read it 3 times. Cried through each one. Then I heard footsteps. The door opened. Enzo stood there, hair disheveled from sleep. Can't sleep either? I quickly closed the laptop. Just thinking. He crossed to me, and my heart broke all over again. Because he looked soft right now. Vulnerable. The man. Not the monster. What are you thinking about? He sat beside me. The future. Scary topic. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Want to talk about it? I should have said no. Should have kept the letter secret until I had a plan. Instead, I opened the laptop, turned it toward him. Read it. His eyes scanned the screen. With each line, I watched him break. When he finished, he was silent for a long time. Okay, he finally said. Okay? You're right. This life is no place for a child. For you. He stood, walked to the window. I'll make the arrangements, find you somewhere safe, set up support. You'll never want for anything, Enzo. It's what you need, so it's what I'll give you. He turned, and the pain in his eyes nearly killed me. When do you want to leave? I opened my mouth, closed it, because suddenly, hearing him agree to let me go made me realize something terrifying. I didn't actually want to leave. I wanted him to fight for me. I don't know what I want. The confession burst out before I could stop it. Enzo turned from the window. What? I wrote that letter because I'm terrified, but hearing you agree to let me go. I stood, paced. It made me realize I might be more terrified of losing you. Maya, you're not making sense. I know. I laughed, bordering on hysterical. Nothing about this makes sense. I should hate you. I should run. But instead, I'm standing here wishing you'd refused. Wishing you'd fought harder. How messed up is that? Very messed up. He stepped closer. But I get it. You do? I spent my whole life believing love was weakness, that caring made you vulnerable. Then you walked into my world and proved me wrong. Love isn't weakness, it's the only thing that makes us human. He cupped my face. So tell me what you want. Really want. Not what you think you should want. I took a shaky breath. I want a life where our child is safe, where I'm not looking over my shoulder constantly, where you're not coming home with blood on your hands. That's fair, reasonable even. But I also want you. The admission felt like surrender. I want us. This broken, complicated, probably doomed us. Because despite everything, despite the lies and manipulation and danger, you're it for me. You're the person I want beside me when this baby comes. The person I want to build something with. Even knowing what I am? Maybe because of what you are. I grabbed his shirt, pulled him close. You're a monster who became human for me, who burned down the world when I was taken, who's actually trying to be better. That's more than most good men ever do. So what do we do? His forehead touched mine. How do we make this work? We change the game. I met his eyes. You get out. Out? Out of the illegal business. You're a brilliant businessman, use that. Go completely legitimate. Real estate, investments, whatever. But no more violence. No more wars. My family would never accept. Then walk away from them too. My voice was steel now. Choose us over them. Prove that we're worth more than an empire built on blood. He stared at me like I'd asked him to cut off his own arm. You're asking me to abandon everything. I'm asking you to choose everything that matters. I placed his hand on my stomach. This is your legacy now. Not the Rossi name. Not territory or power. Us. This baby. The family we could be. Silence stretched between us. Then, okay, I'll do it. His voice was firm. I'll dismantle it all. Find someone to take over. Go completely clean. Whatever it takes. It won't be easy. Nothing worth having ever is. He kissed me softly. But you're worth it. This baby's worth it. A real future is worth more than any empire. You mean it? I've never meant anything more in my life. I kissed him then, deep, desperate. A promise and a beginning. We were choosing each other. And this time, it was on our terms. 6 months later, the gallery opening was small, intimate. Nothing like the ostentatious parties Enzo used to throw. I stood in front of a painting, abstract, chaotic, somehow beautiful, with one hand on my very pregnant belly. 8 months now. Any day, the doctor kept saying. This one's my favorite, a voice said beside me. I smiled without looking over. Mine too. Enzo slid an arm around my waist carefully, always so careful now. The artist says it's about rebirth, destruction becoming creation. Fitting. I leaned into him. How'd the meeting go? Marco's officially taking over operations. Clean transition. No bloodshed. Progress. Significant progress. He pressed a kiss to my temple. I'm officially just a boring real estate developer now. How disappointing. So disappointing. I turned to face him. Whatever will we do with all your free time? I can think of a few things. His hand splayed across my stomach, like preparing for this little one. The baby kicked against his palm. He grinned that genuine, unguarded smile I'd fallen for. You're different, I observed. Different how? Lighter, like you've been carrying weight for years and finally put it down. I have. He pulled me closer. Turns out violence and paranoia are heavy. Who knew? Who knew? I echoed. Elena approached, champagne in hand. She and Enzo had reached an uneasy truce. She still didn't trust him completely, but she'd stopped threatening to murder him. Progress. This is nice, she said, gesturing around. Very legitimate. That's the goal, Enzo replied. Don't screw it up. She pointed at him. I know 17 ways to make a death look accidental. Only 17? He raised an eyebrow. Amateur. I laughed. They'd be okay. Eventually. Later, as guests mingled and the gallery hummed with conversation, Enzo pulled me onto the balcony. The city stretched before us, the same city where we'd met, where everything had fallen apart and somehow come back together. I have something for you, he said. If it's another surveillance system. It's not. He pulled out a small box. Open it. Inside, a key, simple, silver. It's to the beach house, he explained. The one we looked at last month. I bought it. Enzo. That place was perfect for raising a child? Away from the city? With a yard and normal neighbors? Yes. He smiled. I put it in your name. Completely yours. So if you ever need to leave, if I ever slip back into old patterns, you have somewhere safe to go. Tears pricked my eyes. You're giving me an escape route? I'm giving you freedom. Real freedom. The choice to stay because you want to, not because you're trapped. I kissed him. Soft. Sweet. A promise. I choose you, I whispered. Every day, every moment, I choose us. Even with all my baggage? Especially with your baggage. I grinned. Makes my issues look manageable. He laughed. And in that moment, standing on a balcony with the man I loved, our baby growing between us, a future full of possibility stretching ahead, I realized something. We weren't a fairy tale. We were messy and complicated, and built on a foundation of mistakes. But we were real. We were trying. We were choosing each other. And sometimes, that's the most romantic thing of all. The beach house was exactly as chaotic as I'd imagined. Toys scattered across the living room. Crayon marks on the walls, we'd given up fighting it. The sound of tiny feet running through the halls. Mama. Our daughter Lucia, named after Enzo's mother, barreled into the kitchen. Dark curls. His eyes. My smile. Papa says we can get ice cream. Papa says a lot of things. I shot Enzo a look where he stood in the doorway, trying and failing to look innocent. I said maybe, he protested. You said yes. I heard you. She has your hearing. He crossed to me, kissed my cheek. Fine. Ice cream. But only if she finishes her vegetables at dinner. Lucia groaned dramatically. Vegetables are the worst. Life is suffering, Enzo said solemnly. Eat your broccoli. She ran off, already plotting how to hide broccoli under her napkin. We'd find it later. We always did. You're a terrible disciplinarian, I said. I'm aware. He pulled me close. But I'm excellent at other things. Is this you trying to seduce me in broad daylight? Is it working? Ask me after she's in bed. He grinned. That same grin from the rooftop, the gallery, every important moment in between. We'd had our struggles. Therapy was ongoing. His family still didn't approve of his retirement. My mother still asked pointed questions about his import business. But we were happy. Genuinely happy. Later that night, after ice cream and bath time and 3 bedtime stories, I found Enzo on the beach, Lucia asleep in his arms, exhausted from the day. She's out, he whispered. She lasted longer than I expected. We sat there in comfortable silence, waves crashing, stars emerging overhead, our daughter breathing softly between us. Do you regret it? Enzo asked quietly. Everything that happened? The way we started? I thought about it. Really thought. I regret the lies, I said finally. The manipulation. But the outcome? I looked at Lucia, at him, at the life we'd built. No, I don't regret this. Even knowing what you know now? Especially knowing what I know now. I kissed him softly. You're not the man you were, and I'm not the naive girl from that party. We grew. Together. Growing's painful. The best things usually are. He smiled. When did you get so wise? When I decided to keep a mobster's baby, I grinned. Questionable judgment builds character. We carried Lucia back to the house, tucked her in, and stood in her doorway watching her sleep. We made that, Enzo whispered, wonder in his voice. We made that, I agreed. And as we walked to our own room, hands intertwined, I realized something. We hadn't gotten a fairy tale ending. We'd gotten something better. A real one. The end.